Hiro is a young child who has tragically lost both of his parents. He was the sole survivor because his father created a spell that caused Dragon Zord and Hiro to share the same scar. As a result of this tragedy, Hiro embarks on a voyage to exact vengeance on the dragon. Hiro studied swordsmanship for years under Juru. He wanders everywhere, calling himself a traveling swordsman, looking for a hint that may help him achieve his aim. He comes to a halt in a city and encounters Tomet, the leader of a gang of street youngsters who make a living by stealing from others. The same group of youths decides to steal Grand Troa, a crystal held by Lord Nambuko, a merchant. The thief is caught and sentenced to death. Hiro resolves to save the child, but in the process, he finds that Grand Troa is the crystal from his father's staff and insists that it be returned to him. Nambuko's magician plans to assault Hiro, but fails when the Dragon Zord emerges after 10 years. Hiro vows to exact his revenge on Dragon Zord and assaults him, but he passes out when the dragon touches him, causing him to experience grief. The guards launch crossbow attacks on Hiro, but the dragon defends him and flees. The story of the dragon's return spreads like wildfire across the land. Nambuko seeks to capitalize on people's growing anxiety by increasing sales of his weapon and armor. Hiro and his buddies are no longer allowed at any store since they fought Lord Nambuko. They meet the lovely Erin while looking for a spot to eat. She assists them in finding a restaurant but leaves before they finish. Hiro, his tutor Juru, meet at Tomet's place to decide how to retrieve the Grand Troa from Nambuko, as he has already left town, leaving his 8 Sharisharu behind to look for Hiro. Hiro is compelled to practice even harder for his assignment, yet he is unable of defeating slimes. During his training, he encounters a girl named Serato, who arrives on a sand dragon. She immediately hugs him and compliments him on his beautiful heartbeat. Serato appears strange to other humans. She begs Hiro to accompany her, although they don't even know each other's names. Hiro decides he shouldn't go any closer to her and flees, but Serato can feel his whereabouts and follows him, claiming she will be where he is. Hiro's heart softens at this words, and he lets Serato stay with them. The following day, during training, Hiro is attacked by a wolf and injured while attempting to defend Serato, but she claims to have fallen asleep throughout his struggle. When Serato notices Hiro's wounds, she exposes her skills while treating him. Hiro witnesses the soldiers taking several men to be slaves in the mines. When they return, he attempts to stop them but is dragged away. Tomet and Serato resolve to infiltrate the city lord's house and utilize the tainted book records to free Hiro. Serato encounters Erin while going around town, who once assisted Hiro in locating a spot to eat. Erin accompanied Serato to the healing springs, where they met Nambuko's mage, Sarisharu, and became closer acquainted. Serato almost reveals about her connection with Hiro, but Erin manages to keep it a secret. Hiro was hurt during his rigorous training with Juru and is also taken there. Then he goes into another confrontation with a monster and is saved by Juru. Hiro hasn't perfected swordship despite years of practice. He just understands the fundamentals. When Hiro informs everyone that he has decided to journey in order to find Nambuko and retrieve the Grand Troa, Tomet wants the Grand Troa to change his and his other orphan companions' fate. While Hiro's squad is leaving, Erin appears and claims that the Springs attack was Sarisharu's idea. She also offers to accompany them since she has a map to Nambuko's location. They all agree to assist him, and their trip to the enigmatic location known as Where Wishes Die starts. On their route, they are pursued and assaulted by another Nambuko bird. They manage to flee and decide to spend the night camping in the woods. Everyone is opposed since the bird should have a nest in the forest, but Juru argues that the trees provide them with a topographical advantage. They leave the woodland the next morning. When they reach the desert, Sarisharu attacks them with her magic golems. Hiro attacks wildly and is taken, while Juru is restrained. Karupa teleports with the others, leaving Juru and Hiro behind to battle. Serato threatened Hiro with death if he would not submit in front of them. Hiro becomes infuriated, his eyes turn crimson, and his body fills with a vast amount of strength, killing all the troops surrounding him and forcing Sarisharu to flee. Hiro doesn't know why, but he senses the dragon's presence. As the remainder of the gang returns, they find Juru wounded and Hiro collapsed, with all the troops dead around him. They decide to continue their trip after mending them in order to discover Nambuko, who is merging the souls of innocent humans with monsters to create more crazier creatures. Nambuko's goal is to profit by spreading stories that one of the kingdoms has caught the Dragon Zord, causing them to purchase more of his weapons and armor for protection. Hiro summons his diabolical experiments, but Nambuko disregards his warning and arrests him instead to question him about his ties with the dragon. Dr. Baharapa questions Hiro about Serato and explains that the heart in Hiro's chest is not his. He instructs Hiro to meet someone named Theo, then teleports him to the location where Serato and others were. Hiro relays all Doctor. Hiro shares about what the doctor said, prompting Juru to form a hypothesis. According to this theory, the hero's heart may have been exchanged with the dragon during the Balbogoa catastrophe. It is why the dragon guards Hiro and why Hiro suddenly has wicked abilities. Hiro can't believe he has control over the heart of the monster he despises the most. He must pierce his own heart in order to slay the dragon. He comes up with another solution after calming down a little. He chooses to utilize the Grand Troa to revert his heart and end this sorrow, and the voyage resumes. On their trip, they pass by a ruined little town, which transports Juru back to his childhood memories. This was the village where he was born. His father was an ogre who had a human wife. Juru's parents were executed when ogre hunters raided the settlement, leaving him an orphan. Fortunately, while wandering about, he came into Hiro's father, who agreed to take him up. That is why he is willing to give his life to save Hiro. Suddenly, one of the monsters attacks the group. Hiro attempts but fails to utilize his dragon from, forcing Juru to destroy the monster. Eren dupes Sarasharu into bringing her to the Lord Castle, where she informs the Lord about Hiro possessing the dragon's heart in exchange for a payment. That displays her actual personality, that she is habituated of exchanging knowledge for other benefits. Lord orders Sarasharu to assassinate Hiro after discovering the truth. Hiro's gang stops at a town to acquire firearms. Juru informs Hiro that Theo, the person indicated by Dr. Baharappa, is a doctor of Hiro's father and that he should go visit him as soon as possible. During their stay in the town, Nambuko sends another monster to murder Hiro. Juru begins to be absorbed by the shadow monster. Then Sarasharu attempts to murder Hiro. When stabbed, he returns to his dragon form. But this time he inadvertently attacks Juru, who Eren had just saved. Hiro sobs when he regains consciousness and observes Juru's condition. As Juru awakens, he tells Hiro that if he continues to use his dragon form, that time will come soon. When that wicked force takes over his body permanently, he will most likely turn into a dragon. When Hiro and Serato go to search for Juru's medicine, Eren tells others about Lord plans. The others also talk about Serato. They find strange about that she never eats and that she might be the reason why Nambuko always knows their location. As soon as Juru gets better, they learn about a war that is about to start and that kids are being used as slaves in the mines. They decide to go to meet Theo, who turns out to be Serato's friend. After hearing everything, Theo agrees to help them by training Hiro. He believes Hiro should work on his magic abilities too. Theo training has unique style which can make it look stupid or pointless in others' eyes, so does in Hiro's. Theo teaches him to utilize an invisible weapon known as the Kaku Blade, which reveals Hiro's magical abilities to Theo. Theo afterwards inquired as to why Juru never allowed Hiro to learn magic while knowing he is a poor swordsman. He counseled him to let Hiro be independent so that he could protect himself in the future. But Hiro's magical strength may be highly hazardous because it is the only reason he can bear the dragon's power. He also promises Hiro and Serato that they should be kept together. The next day, before the group departs, Theo tries Hiro's talents once more, and no one, even Hiro, believes that Theo has experienced the terrifying amount of magical might Hiro has. He believes Barrow's choice to exchange the dragon and Hiro's hearts was made to keep their respective powers in balance and prevent them from spiraling out of control. Eren's actual identity is revealed in front of others, and she is cast aside as a traitor. The voyage continues across a desert, where they are divided into pairs following a sandstorm. Others get together in the oasis, but Hiro is kidnapped by Sarasharu, who merged with her pet because Serato couldn't stop it. When Hiro encounters Nambuko, he informs him that he was the one who disrupted Dragon Zord's ceiling by shooting an arrow at his father. He enjoys chaos and destruction. He admits that he has fallen in love with the Dragon Zord's wicked abilities and wishes to possess them. Eren, on the other side, leads the gang to Serato. Serato was attempting to conjure a dragon to transport them to Nambuko's castle. The troops of several nations assemble in Balboa, unaware that they would be utilized in Nambuko's terrible designs. Juru and others successfully enter the mansion and meet Dr. Baharappa. Doctor explains that Serato is a doll created with the power of dragon blood crystal, which is why she was drawn to Hiro, who holds the dragon's heart. Doctor advises Serato to flee or she will be exploited by the Lord, but she decides to stay with Hiro. As others are trapped in the house, Sarasharu teleports Nambuko, Hiro, and Serato to Balboa. Sarasharu discloses Nambuko's intention to combine the strength of the army and all the people imprisoned in the house in order to join forces with Dragon Zord and become a deadly monster himself. Dr. Baharappa had fled the residence in order to save Serato. The rest of the group, including Sarasharu, makes it to Balboa. Nambuko casts a spell on Serato, causing her to attack Hiro and awaken Hiro's dragon form. Nambuko instructs Serato to murder Hiro, but the Dragon Zord emerges before she can. Nambuko begins to carry out his plan to utilize the Grand Troa to power a gadget that unites the spirit of the dragon with Nambuko, transforming him into a mighty beast. The Doctor and others attempt to halt the energy flow by removing the Grand Troa from the gadget, but it is too late. Hiro and Serato regain their composure, but before they could even speak, Lord strikes and murders Serato, causing Hiro to cry. As a result, Hiro attacks Nambuko with his sword and magic, successfully separating the dragon's soul and returning it to its former form. Nambuko is killed, but the dragon lived on. Hiro realizes that the only way to slay the dragon is to kill himself, but he changes his mind at the last minute. He pierces the dragon's breast with the Grand Troa and Kaku Blade, exposing the dragon's true heart. Instead of returning his heart to himself, he places it in Serato's body, bringing her back to life and putting a stop to the existence of Dragon Zord. The Grand Troll was a sealing treasure that broke after its mission was completed. The troops withdraw, and the continent becomes silent. Everyone returns to their daily lives. However, Hiro and Serato's lives have merged since Serato now owns Hiro's heart. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe and watch my other videos if you're into my content.